Coming up now on Animal Outtakes, we're taking a walk on the wild side. A trip to Gatorama is keeping us on our toes and showing us the softer side of the alligator. We talk with the family who runs this operation, and they've got a unique perspective on what they call a misunderstood animal, plus a terrestrial mammal native to Africa. Right here on the Suncoast, we're learning about the rock hyrax, and you'll never guess who it shares an ancestor with. And later in the show, we introduce you to some of the dogs who make Dante's Den Foundation the best place to be a dog. This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. Just be faster than the slowest person. That's what the Animal Outtakes crew was told while going into Gatorama. It's a wildlife adventure park in Palmdale, Florida, and it's one of the few of its kind left in the state, a roadside tourist attraction of sorts, which also operates as a breeding farm. It was started by a gator hunter named Cecil Clemens back in 1957. We're told Cecil began by fencing in the alligators who were found in the area naturally, and it grew from there. They also brought in American crocodiles in the late 60s before the crocs were considered an endangered species. In 1986, a man named Dave took over. Fast forward to today, Dave's daughter Patty runs the place along with her husband Alan. And as you'll see, there's a reason why the motto, fast hands or no hands, has stuck around for the past 60 plus years.
Gatorama is owned and operated by 5th and 6th generation Florida crackers, and we're proud of it. So what you have to remember is these guys are as leery of you as you are of them. So that's how we can walk. Now, right, they're gonna try to get away from us in the wild or in captivity. So right now on a bright sunny day, and it's cool, that's really the best time for gator gazing, because they're out on the banks soaking up the sun, and at nighttime they're all in the water trying to warm up.
Patty Register and her son Ben know a thing or two about alligators. They've made it their mission to educate others about alligators and crocodiles.
Like this is an alligator slide. So this is what an alligator slide would look like in the wild, from dragging his tail back and forth, going from one body of water to another. You are at Gatorama, south of Palmdale in Glades County, Florida. We are about 1.5, almost 2 hours from Bradenton, less to Sarasota. And we name them based on their personality.
Or characteristics, like this is Scar. Scar, hold. Scar, hold. So Scar, you can see right here, it's hard to tell with the duckweed on them. The duckweed is actually maybe we should back up. Duckweed actually acts as a filter, but Scar we actually caught a fishing creek, and you can look right there. Hold.
Yeah, he has a scar in his jaw.
Hold. So that's why his name's Scar. Then we have, I think he's hissed off with an H.
I was a commercial banker back before my dad bought this farm. Wore hose and heels every day back then. And when Dad bought the farm, I thought he had to be crazy. So did my mom. And but it was obvious that it was too much for them to do. And so my husband got out. It was time for him to get out of U.S. Navy subs. And we were looking for something else to do. And so Dad made us an offer we thought we couldn't refuse. That was right when alligators were taken off the endangered species list. He wanted to be in on the ground floor of a new Florida industry, and he had grown up in the Everglades. I was interested in tourism, and I love sharing stories about Florida, and I always thought Gatorama is pretty much like a natural museum, natural history museum. We pretty much, with upgrades, we're pretty much the same as we were back in the 50s.
You know, you can't see down their throat though, so if they were to grab you, you know, they're not going to drown in the water. So if they have your hand, just open that valve. So 36 years, 37 years, I've been right here on this property. That's all. Almost a lifetime.
Benson has been working with alligators since he was probably 6 years old, of course, and our grandson is today. But you know, we start him out with a very healthy respect, and of course, very small animals.
I mean, they're dinosaurs, and we can actually not communicate with them, but train them and talk to them. And so that's really the next thing that's kind of born into it. So I don't have a choice. I do have a choice. You know, I have my fire science degree, my EMT degree, but it's just, they're alligators. I mean, we can train them, we can sit on them, we can ride them into the water. You can just go like this, open, and they open their mouth. You know, I mean, they're easier to train than dogs are actually, or cat. So, but to me, it's just like working behind a desk at a 9 to 5. You know, I take it for granted, I guess you could say. I'm desensitized just as much as the alligators are desensitized to me.
We all know our limits. Like for me, I do a lot of our field trips, and we have lots of schools come, and my limit is about 4 foot. And because you have to know the animal and your strengths and your weaknesses.
No, I like working with alligators because they're just easier to understand than people are actually. It's like this famous Steve Irwin quote, you know what the alligator or crocodile's intentions are. They want to eat you. And that's what they do. People, you know.
Gatorama has thousands of gators. The ones in the front pond are here to stay. This is where the big boys live.
I think fear is healthy because if they see us doing stupid human tricks, then they're going to try it themselves. You know, my first nuisance alligator call, it was in Moorhaven. A kid lost his arm because he saw somebody on TV doing something. He's like, oh, I can do it. He did it for like 2 seconds, and then he lost his arm. So you want to have a healthy fear for alligators. You want to respect them. You want to watch them from a distance. You don't want to do what we do. If you do want to do what we do, come to a facility like ours and volunteer and learn and work your way up. But yeah, you just can't jump on an alligator or try to pet it or even feed it in the wild. It's against the law to even feed it, you know.
They're also a licensed alligator breeding farm where the gators are harvested. And Patty says the two operations are completely separate from each other.
Alligators came off the endangered species list, and Florida put together a management program. You know, with over, some say 2.5 million alligators in Florida, we need to manage that population. So we participate in the alligator management program in 2 ways. We, of course, raise alligators for meat and hides. None of these on our attraction are the farm. We have a separate farm, and we raise them to be about 2.5 years old and 5 foot long. And we also participate in the alligator wetland egg collection each year in July. By giving value to an animal, such as the American alligator, you are giving landowners a reason to keep that land undeveloped as private wetlands. And you're also doing away, you should be doing away with like the black market. Every alligator that is farmed or gathered has a number attached to it. And that number follows that hide or that meat all the way to the consumer. And that was part of the management program.
Keep the population of deer under control, hogs under control, fish under control. By saving the alligator, we've saved the Everglades. We've saved basically any wetland in Florida because by making the alligator worth something by farming it, commercialization through conservation, basically. With the belts, you can go to a farm and get your hides. You don't have to go hunt and get. I'm not against hunting. I hunt deer, hogs, fish, gator hunt, all that. But back in, what was it, 76, 77, there was how many in the wild? Now we're at 2.5 million. So that's probably at the limit that we're at.
The family hopes that by giving people an up-close experience, it'll make them care about our environment.
It is part of Florida's history, and it certainly is my history and my family's history. And there's another part to Florida than beaches, even though there are beautiful beaches here, and thank you that people come to Florida for beaches. But we want to keep alive the ways of the early settlers to Florida, and that's right here near Lake Okeechobee and in the Everglades. So that's why we think it's important.
They also hope this old Florida family-owned attraction is around for a long time. It's not something you come by easily these days.
A better understanding of alligators, that they are not necessarily a menace, that they learn, please do not feed them in the wild, that is really signing their death certificate, and that they have an appreciation for the animal. They've made good memories with their families. That personally is very important to me. And that they understand alligator management and conservation.
Just great memories of respect for alligators and crocodiles, and just to take care of nature. You only got one Earth. You only got one life, too.
For more about this old school Florida adventure, you can go to Gatorama.com. They have an event each summer where citizens can help hatch baby gators right from their eggs. Coming up next on Animal Outtakes, we learn about the rock hyrax in our outdoor classroom segment. And we'll be right back.
Every animal that finds its way to Farmhouse Animal and Nature Sanctuary has a story. Some are beyond heartbreaking. But here, we focus on the future. We make sure each animal will spend the rest of their life feeling safe, loved, and protected. To help the animals at FANS, visit farmhousesanctuary.org. Learn more about becoming a volunteer and how to donate. Will you be the one who makes a difference? Donate today to help the animals who call Farmhouse home.
Good morning, Mr. Benson. Your breakfast is served.
Time for another day in doggy paradise. I sure am one lucky pup.
Mr. Benson, would you like to go out for your morning stroll? The weather is quite lovely today.
That sounds wonderful. Don't mind if I do. After all that exercise, I think I'd like to lounge by the pool and maybe dip my paws in.
As you wish, sir. Right this way.
What a perfect day. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else but Dante's Den while Mom and Dad are away.
At Dante's Den, we pride ourselves in providing the best experience for your beloved pup. Whether it be a day, a month, or a year, Dante's Den should always be at the top of your list for boarding. With an expansive campus, your dog will enjoy daily walks, pool time, and an endless supply of love. Even better, it's all under 24/7 supervision from our wonderful staff. If you're anything like us, your dog's safety and happiness come first. To learn more about Dante's Den, visit dantesden.org.
They're said to be the closest living thing to a manatee in Africa, other than an elephant. They're called rock hyrax, and you have to dig deep to figure out how these three animals may resemble one another. The elephant, the manatee, and the rock hyrax share a common ancestor, the smallest of them being the hyrax, which holds most of the similarities on the inside. We got to see one of the little guys up close.
We are Second Chance Ranch and Rescue, Inc., a not-for-profit animal rescue and sanctuary, and this is Nugget. He actually is a rock hyrax. So these guys come from Africa. What's really cool about these guys is they're actually also called conies, and they were one of the first animals in the Bible to be mentioned. Everyone loves Mom. So these guys actually are really cool because they're partially cold-blooded. They actually are related to elephants and manatees. They have a skull that looks just like an elephant. They have tusks. They have rubber on the back of their feet that makes them be able to climb rocks straight up. And like I said, I was talking about the temperature. They actually are 95% of the time lay around. So they lay on rocks, heat up to get through the cold African nights. And these guys actually live in communities of 50 or more. There's one male and a bunch of females. And they have these little whiskers on their body, and that's how they communicate with each other. Actually, there's like scent glands, and they can mark like that. But yeah, we named him Nugget because he looks like a smiling chicken nugget. He also is one of our ambassador animals from Moore's Exotic Ranch, but he doesn't like to go into public. So Moore gets to just sit on mommy. But they also have a really cool sun visor on their eyes. They have a third eyelid that closes over their eyes for dust and to see impending hawks coming down from the glare of the sun. So they're pretty cool. He's usually very sweet to me, but he doesn't like the goat is beside his pen. So, but yeah. Huh, buddy? These are our raccoons. So these are all domestically born raccoons that were owner give-ups. We've got a brother and sister named Cheeto and Oreo that are still young. And then we've got Remy that was 2.5 years old when she was given to the rescue. Like I said, all domestically born. These are not wild caught raccoons. Come on, friends, hi. Come on, babies. So Remy actually is a little overweight. She's lost weight. She's half of her size. So Remy came in. Hi, dear buddy. You want that? Oh, you guys don't like popcorn. That's amazing. What about your food? They're like, no, where's the good stuff, Mom? We don't like popcorn. They're a little bit snobby. So Remy, since she's been in with these two, they've been running and playing and chasing each other. And so she's been working out every day. Do you not like that?
Why would you tell people not to have raccoons?
Absolutely do not ever have raccoons as pets. First of all, if you get a wild raccoon that you find, it's against the law. It's a felony. You cannot raise a raccoon from the wild. You have to have a special rehab permit. I don't even have that permit. I have my class 3 permit to have domestic animals that, were born domestic. These guys reach sexual maturity about 6 months and they get nasty, super, super, super nasty. So this brother and sister, they're gonna be nasty, and they're gonna be nasty for a while. Remy is already out of her nastiness. Her owner went through that, thank goodness. But yeah, no, you don't wanna keep them, and oh, they're super cute. Even these guys were purchased as an exotic pet, and you see they're here because they're already starting their sexual maturity, which Cheeto will be removed from the enclosure at that point. So, but yeah, so they came in as a pair. Oh, what do you think, my love? What do you think? I'm not eating anything. Oh, there we go, my love. Here we go. So raccoons eat everything with their paws. Oh, everything they do is in their water. I literally changed that like 20 minutes ago and it's already dirty. But yeah, they wash their food to eat it. So they do everything in the water. She's such a good girl. Oh, are you posing? What do you think? We couldn't touch her for the first month.
Oh, hello.
Like, hey, what are you doing? So these guys look super cute and cuddly, but they aren't always cute and cuddly. I've been bit many times. Huh? What do you think? What do you think? Be nice, Cheeto.
Stick around. There's more animal outtakes after the break. At Dante's Den Foundation in Mayaca, Florida, it's our job to make sure that every dog that walks through our doors is guaranteed a good life, a life they deserve, and a life of dignity. So we'd like to introduce you to a few of the dogs who are now part of the Dante's family. They may have had an unfortunate start to life, but as you'll see, things have gotten a lot better.
There was a time when nobody cared about the two of us. We were dumped in Mayaca City, so we tried to find our way. We did our best to survive. Food was the hardest thing to come by, so we went begging. Could you blame us? We set off an alarm at one of the houses we went to. The homeowners got really mad, so we ran off to the next house. This time we set off a Ring doorbell, but instead of chasing us off, the kind homeowner brought us to Dante's Den. We had food and water waiting for us. What a relief it was. It is finally a place we can feel safe, a place we can call home.
I've been lucky to call Dante's Den home for 9 years. They've been the best years of my life. I'll never forget how I started life. The first family I lived with snubbed cigarettes out on my nose and kicked me around for no reason. But anytime I start to think about those miserable years, I stop and think about how happy I am now. I've got a great life. I am safe, I am fed, and I'm loved more than I ever thought possible. Life is good.
For several weeks, I ran around the Sarasota Square Mall looking for something to fill my belly and quench my thirst. There were a few people who tried to catch me, but I would always get away. However, I could not resist the smell of pizza. It's my weakness. One hot day, I let my guard down, went for the pizza, and the humans finally got me. I ended up at Animal Services, and it was scary for me to be there. All the dogs did was bark and bark and bark. I couldn't stop shaking. I didn't want to get out of my kennel because I was terrified. So the staff there labeled me unadoptable and untouchable. My heart was broken. By some miracle, a man showed up one day, put a leash on me, and walked me right out those doors. He brought me to Dante's Den. The humans here are amazing. They just get it. They've been patient with me and gave me a chance to feel safe. Now I can't get enough of the love I get from my new family here at the Dens.
My name is Flynn. I had a terrible start to life, and that's an understatement. I was crammed in a room with 20 other Great Danes. There was loud barking and people yelling at me all the time. Life was unbearable. But one morning, someone showed up and put me in a van. It was a long ride, but worth every minute. As soon as I realized Dante's Den rescued me. The first nights, I had all the silence I needed. I also got a good meal. I knew I was finally safe, but I was still afraid. The trauma of my early months wasn't going to go away easily, but slowly but surely, I have gained trust and confidence in the people who take care of me. And I have made a few friends on this new journey that I can't get enough of. Dante's Den. It's just the best place to be a dog.
For more on these pups and some of the others who are available for adoption, log on to dantesden.org. And we'll be right back. Animal Outtakes is produced by Dante's Den Foundation, a nonprofit group dedicated to creating the best life for dogs. If you would like to learn more about Dante's Den, donate, or volunteer, visit our website, dantesden.org. We hope you had fun and learned a thing or two along the way. But we'll be back here again next week with even more animals and some engaging encounters. Until then, thanks for watching.
You want me to stop? He's really friendly. Oh no, he's super friendly. Anything he's grumpy right now because he doesn't like the goat or the pig near me because I'm his mate.
Like never getting too comfortable around.
Yeah, once you get comfortable, that's when you get bit. That's when body parts come off. I got bit like 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. Just made a mistake, and it happens. But if I didn't have my hand in his mouth, I wouldn't have gotten bit. So it's not the animal's fault that bit me. It was my fault for putting myself in that position.